Yeah, good evening. So last session we discussed about how to handle two-way binding. I hope everyone tried it, right? So we discussed about how we can handle events. So one-way binding and two-way binding. Two-way binding, we done that by using event binding concept. So we will see 1-2 examples to clearly understand the concept. So was what we discussed yesterday was how we can identify the changes and how we can bind. So already we discussed that you can bind on any event, but if you are binding to value, right? If you are binding to value property, the value is user name, then it should be on change. It should be on change. So this on change will allow to handle change. So that username and uppercase. Okay, right. So it can access that username and display. And whatever changes we are making, it will update the changes. Now we will see one simple example how we can handle different types of controls. How to handle different types of control. This is working fine. Already we discussed. Yesterday I told you that when you bind a value, it will be read only, right? Why it is read only? Points I explained, right? Because if you are not using change, you cannot use value binding, right? Now we will see one simple example how we can handle. Let's create a simple form. We'll see one example now. Already yesterday, just basic level example I showed you. Let's see one simple example how to configure. I'm creating a simple two-way binding example. Let's add a component here. So in components, I'm adding a component two-way binding. So component just two-way binding.js. Okay. Let's configure. You have to import, and here we will import use state from React, and export function, default function, and the function we are configuring as two-way binding. Two-way binding. Okay. Now it should return a simple markup. So here I will create a simple form, class container fluid, and let's keep a div class as row, and we have a div. So the class is call some 3, and we have a div, the class as some call 9. Left side, we are defining details, some register product. And in this, we are creating a data list, data term. So the product name, and we will put a text box. And here we will define some price, and we will use input type is equal to text. And we will define some city. That means we will configure here city, and data definition here we will use a select. So let's keep select with option as Delhi. So the option Hyderabad like this. And let's keep another. Just our intention is to understand different types of elements. So I will say stock, and here I will keep input type is equal to checkbox. And what I will do is this checkbox, I will use a modern checkbox for that. Stock I will give here available. Okay, so this is the two-way binding, and let's keep in the startup two-way binding. Okay, and this is the form. Now I will keep this in a little bit more better style. So class name form control, and here the class name form control, and city we will put the class name form select. Yeah, and stock I will put the class name form switch, and class name form check input. So this is a simple form here. This is the form. We have the name, we can enter some product name, some Samsung TV. We can enter some price, and we can choose a city, and we can select the stock available or not. This is a checkbox. And when I submit, then these details need to be collected and updated. Means on submit, just we will collect the detail and display beside. Right? That means here I want to display the detail beside. Later we can post that to APIs. For that we need APIs. We need to learn how to communicate. Here we are learning how to collect the data from form and use the data, how event binding works. So here for that what we will do, we will keep here a button, and this is class BTN and BTN primary, and this is register button. Let's keep W100. Okay. Now right side I want to display the product details. Whatever details entered, I need to collect the details and display them here. That means user will enter the name, price, city, stock, and click on register. Whatever details entered, we have to collect and display right side, whatever the details they have entered. Now, how do you manage this functionality? Collecting the data from form, and we are updating. Traditionally, one of the major drawback with React is React can originally do this, but because it is a failure in two-way binding, it doesn't have two-way binding technique. You have to depend on lot of event binding techniques. Compulsory, there is no alternative with only React. That is the reason developers are not interested in this type of approach of React. We are never satisfied with this React forms. Then we look for third-party forms, which can make interaction with the forms more easier and better. So React allows handling interaction, but it's a very lengthy process because the drawback of React is not supporting two-way binding. And if it is not supporting two-way binding, then how to handle this? See how much lengthy process. For that, we will find a solution. We will use the third parties to make this simplified. But without third party, how React can do it? Let's see. So what we are expecting from the form? What we will do here, so we will configure a state. So constant, we are configuring product and we have set product. For every product, use state. For every product, what you are expecting, details. I am expecting an object. This object contains name. It is initially empty. And it contains price. It is 0. That means it is number. And we have city. City is also string. And we are expecting stock. Stock is a boolean. Boolean is false. These are the basic details we are expecting. That means product contains the name, the price, the city, and stock. Now what I have to do is, when user clicks the submit button, see, first important is when user enters name, I have to collect the name. When user enters the name, I have to collect name. That means first we need to identify the change in the name and we need to access. Then what you have to do? We have to write so many functions now. What are those functions? One function to handle name. So another function to handle price. Another function so to handle city. Another function to handle stock. These are all required. Now these will fire up when user is making changes in those fields. That means what should happen here? So when user changes, that means here on change, it should change. That means handle name. Similarly, on change, it should handle price. And similarly here on change, that is drop down. So it should handle city. And here on change of this checkbox on change. So handle stock. We need to define this. That is basic. These are the things we need to manage. Now, very important is here, when you are configuring this, when handle name, we have to collect the new name they entered inside the text box. Through event argument, you can do it. Right? Through event argument, you can do it. And where to store? We have to store inside this product. But product is having other details also. It's an object. So what I have to do? I have to set product. In that set product, it is an object. In this, what are the properties? Name. In the name, we should get the value from text box. E dot target dot value. That's how we collect the value from text box. What about price and city? The price and city must be whatever the price and city they already have in product. That otherwise, if you don't mention price and city, it will make them empty every time. So every time you have to access this object. That means what we have to do. So price will be from product dot price. That means whatever the product price is mentioned, it will get that price. Similarly, what will be the city? City will be same. It will be product dot city. What will be the stock? Stock will be product dot stock. That means only the name is updated from this particular handle name. And other details we have to mention. If you are not mentioning them, it will set them to default 0. So every time, what this indicates? This indicates that already if handle price is storing some price, It will collect that price and it will store in this price location. If you don't mention these, all will be empty every time. Only one will be updated, others will be empty. So we need to keep all the existing details. So the same thing you have to do for every method. On handle price, I hope you know what to do now. We have to collect E. This name will come from what? From where it will come from? Product dot name. Only the price will come from the price text box. That means E dot target dot value. I hope you understood how to collect the data. And how do we update this data? So again, set again same. We have to collect E, the event argument, and here this name is same. The product dot name, price is also product price. City comes from E dot target dot value, because it is also drop down. Drop down also will have a value. Text box, passwords, check boxes. Now check boxes, let's see. What about this stock? Here also product dot name, product dot name. But this stock is we have to get event argument e dot target dot checked, not value. You know that checkbox checked will return true or false. Stock is of what type? Boolean. So stock is not expecting a string here. Stock is a Boolean type. It is expecting a Boolean type. Boolean type means you have to handle the Boolean. You have to configure that Boolean here. That means checked will return the Boolean. Okay, now we need to collect all this information and display right side. Here we want to display. All the information must be updated here. When you should update that information? When user clicks the button. When user clicks the button. So here, without clicking the button, you can update. Actually, what you can do simply, here you can put a data list in the data term. So this is name, data definition. You know how to access it. What is it? Product dot name. That's it. You can bind another data term, price, and here data definition, product dot price. Another data term is city, and here data definition, this is product dot city, and here data term is a stock, and data definition, here I will use an expression product dot stock is equal to true. Then I will put a string. Available. Otherwise I will put a string out of stock. That's how we define. Now these are the details we are collecting and displaying right side, and I am entering the details, so it will get the details while you are typing. I am entering the price, it will get the price. I am selecting a city, it will get that city. I am selecting the stock available, it is available. So off, then out of stock. That means we are handling this while user is typing. While user is making the change, we are collecting that information and we are handling. But I don't want that. I want this to happen after user clicks this register. That means you can update level by level, or we want this to happen after he finished this. That means after editing all details, then click register. Now I have to collect that and update. Then how do we manage this? How we can handle that? Very simple, nothing but what we doing here. Directly we are updating into this product and we are displaying it. That is the reason what happens whenever you are changing name, automatically while changing itself, it will update the details. If you don't want like that, then you can do one thing. You can create another new product, right? and set new product, set new product, and it is use state. It is using state. Now what this new product is empty, nothing it is having. What we can do is we can use here that new product related details. That means we can use that new product related details. That means I am using new product name. I am using here new product price. But new product is empty, nothing is there, right? So we have new product city, new product city, and you have new product stock, new product stock. All these are empty actually. This new product is empty, nothing is there inside it. New product is empty, nothing there inside it. As of now, you will get an error obviously because new product is not having name, price. These details are not there. It is completely empty. It is not having those fields at all. Usually you see here, so when we inspect, now in the inspect, obviously the 4 errors we are expecting related to all the fields. That means name is not there. Similarly, price is not there. It will display all that information here. But here what we need to do is, here we need to collect that and display. So actually this new product should store this product. Whatever you entered in this product, it should be updated to new product. Whatever you defined in this product, it should be updated into new product when user clicks the button. So we will write here function. We will write a function that is handle register, handle register click. What should happen on handle register click? We will use new into that. What is the value? The product value you will pass into. Product is, so whatever you entered in the product object, whatever you updated, that you store into new product. When you have to that, when user clicks on handle register. So here I am using that handle register. That means on click, handle register click. That's what we are configuring. Now you see here handle register click. Here you can see still you have the problems in the fields because the same option. The problem in the fields is nothing but it is unable to access the property called name. In two-way binding, it is having the problem. That is nothing but you have to configure this new object is also what type of object? Product. That means this new object is having name empty. It is also having price, and it is also having city. It is also having stock, same what we defined. So false. Can you tell me, is there any option to clone objects in JavaScript? To clone an object in JavaScript. That means the same object related properties we want for others. Then how you can do that? Right? How do we can create clone? Object. Actually, we have the options assigning object, right? Another is object name, deep shallow. Actually, we have the copy methods. Generally, array have copy methods. Arrays copy methods are there. Array copy methods are nothing but you can copy the elements and its structure into another. Right? Arrays, objects, you can create a shallow copy. The shallow copy is nothing but without disturbing the content. So it will just define the structure. One object structure can be assigned to another object. That can be done by using copies, shallow copies. You can assign or you can create some shallow copies. Actually, arrays will have that option. So objects will have that option. In several majority React interviews, we have seen this question, right? What is a shallow copy? How to create a shallow copy of arrays or objects in React interviews for experienced people, especially because generally learners will know about how to create objects, how to create arrays. But as I already told you, we can destructure object. You can destructure arrays. We can create copies of objects and arrays. We will see. In the next levels, we are going to see how we can create the copies and handle them. Initially, I am just hard coding everything here. Now you can see that new product is also having the same properties. So you can see all are having the same properties. But important, all these properties are configured into it empty. But what should happen while typing? So the details, Samsung TV, it's not updating there. I'm entering price, it's not updating. I'm selecting, it is not updating because this object is different and right side object is different. Now what we have to do on register click, we assigned it. That means on register click, the data is updated. That means we are assigning the data into this on register click. If I don't use that register click, that means I am not using any another object for handling the data. Then what it will do, it will update immediately while you are making the change, right? That means here I changed the city, it is not updated until or unless I click register. I make change in the stock, it is not updated until or unless I click register. So you have to handle the events. So whatever changes you are making and update, then that will be updated here, right? There are so many methods here, but this is very lengthy process and this is never satisfied to developers. You will say that JavaScript is better, sir, right? Because JavaScript is better in this kind of design. It's very simple. It looks very complicated. Handle change for text box, handle change for price, handle change for drop down. React cannot do other than this. If you ask, so can React, is there any another shortcut? There is no shortcut. This is only the way how React can understand. And developers are not satisfied with this. We are not satisfied with this. What you are doing this, right? So that is the reason 100 to 100% we depend on third parties. Third party libraries to handle the forms, to interact with the forms. Those third party libraries provide simple techniques of designing a form, collecting the data from the form and updating, right? For that we need to learn some third parties. We will not touch them until or unless we learn all the basics first. That means we will not touch the third parties until or unless we know what React itself can do. What React will do, what third party can do. We will see that later. In React, this is how it can manage the data coming from a form. And if you want to send this data to some API, then what you have to do, on register click, we have to send this product to APIs. Later we will see that. That means on submit, we have to send the data to API. We will write our Ajax methods to send the data to the API. So this is one simple example, two-way binding. The simple example of two-way binding. Two-way binding.js. This is the example. Here we learned two things: how we can collect the data updated from every element. And after collecting the updated data from every element, we are storing that in a reference. This reference you can directly use, or you can create another copy of it and you can copy that into that product. So this is a technique of handling two-way binding, how we can manage the event and how we can configure the events. Let's see another example, means how this event binding related other point. So let's take yesterday's example. We created fake store API example. In fake store API example, now let's see how we can handle filter, how we can handle filter, how we can work with little bit complex data. If there is data coming from API and how you handle that. Let's see one another example for that. So I hope yesterday we already created one example, shopping component. We will keep this in the startup. This is a shopping component in the startup. Now this is the shopping component yesterday we created. It gets the data from the API. It will take a little while to get all the data from the API. Okay, now it gets the data from the API. Now what is the point here is, for example, already you know how I designed this, right? I hope everyone clear. Do I need to explain this one more time? Is it clear? You tried already fetching data from API and displaying. Everyone clear, right? Up to this you tried. Then we can implement some functionality on this now, right? That means here we are fetching the data from API. One, we are designing a card for presentation. Let's do in this card, in the shopping component, what we are doing is, wherever we have the card header, I will put a style and I will give height as, suppose the height, it is an object again. Yeah, again height is suppose some 160 pixel. That means the header height will be even, otherwise it looks uneven. And one more we will do here. What we will do is we will create, so at the end, this is the card body, and we will create a div and we will put the class name as card footer. Card footer. And in the card footer, let's add a button, and let's keep a span class name as BI and BI cart 4. And let's add to cart. And here we will keep the class name BTN and BTN danger. Okay, W100. This is at the card footer. We have add to cart button at the card footer. Means we are creating a simple card style for products and displaying all here. Now actually it is displaying the list of products. Now I want some filter to set. That means when user selects electronics, only electronic products must come, right? We need to set some filter. So jewelry, only jewelry products must come. This we want to implement in this example, the same. So already we have designed this example, and here you should know that fake store API, fake store methods, actually it have get method. One is /products. It will return all products. It is having another get method, products/categories. It will return all categories, only categories list it will return. We have another get method, products/category/ and the category name. This will return only that products, electronic products. That means it will return only electronics, only footwear, only jewelry, like that. For example, you see they have that API. So fake store API /products/category/ I am using some jewelry. Jewelry is the category. It have to return only jewelry products. That is the API request that is used for. That means they already designed API methods for handling that. This is only jewelry products. Whatever jewelry products are there, it is returning only them. That means there are 20 products. Out of that, it is returning only the products which belongs to the category jewelry. These all belongs to the category jewelry. Only those products are displayed. So you have these APIs. Now, what is our condition in this example? When user selects a category, we have to display the category related products. Now, tell me what to do, where to write the event. We have to write the event for this drop down. Am I right? So that means the first point here is we are loading the products, loading the categories. We are loading the products. What this products is doing, it is loading all products, but it should not load all products every time. It should change which category products to load. It should decide according to which category you selected. That means according to selected category, this URL should be changing. Then what we will do is for load products, we will use a parameter URL and we will use that parameter here. That means load products is not ready. Load products is expecting URL. So when component is initialized, user when component is mounted. When component is mounted, load products have to load what? It is currently empty. That means the load products is empty. Nothing is there. It should load which products? That means it should load the URL. What is the URL? http://fakestoreapi.com/what products. And load products to accept URL. That means it will accept this URL and load and it into products. This is fine now. That means it is working fine now. Now, what should happen when the user changes the category? So you have to write an event. You have to write a function. Handle category change. Am I right? We have to collect the category name. What is the category name? We use an event argument. How to use this? Drop down have to use an event. What is the event? On change. On change. Handle category change. Category change. Handle category change. And here you see it is going to access this in uppercase. So I will temporarily put an alert here. I will temporarily put an alert. I will put an alert here in that e dot target dot what value. And you, when I select here electronics, it gets uppercase electronics, but it will not work. I select jewelry, it will get jewelry. It will not work. Why it will not work? Because here jewelry is lowercase. That means the category name is in lowercase. The category name it is uppercase because you converted to uppercase. But we already learned that point. What is the text? You send is value. That means we have to bind to which property. Value should be category. Category means it is in lowercase. http://fakestoreapi.com/products/category/category name. Category name comes a dynamic expression. It comes from e dot target dot value. Understood? That means the category name comes from the drop down value. That means whatever the value you selected in drop down, it will be used as the category name. And whenever you are changing, it will be updated. That means whenever you are changing here, I will refresh. Yeah. Whenever you are changing, it will be updated automatically here. Let's see. So here I am selecting electronics or jewelry. Only jewelry products have to display right here. So you can observe here. So some change, any issue occurred. API may be taking little while to load. It taking some time to load. Okay. Now you can see only jewelry products will come. I'm selecting here some men's clothing. That means only the men's clothing should come, because it is coming from API. It is taking little while for loading the data. Of course, later we can learn to put spinners. We can put spinner and we can say that loading, right? Now this is men's clothing. That means we are able to display only the products that user selects from that list. That means we can display only those products that selected from the list. But here all is not working because there is no all in their API. That means when you select here, let's see, this is women's clothing, and I selected here all. There is no all. So if there is no all, it cannot display anything here. It will check there is nothing to display for all, because in the categories they don't have any all category. So you can see products slash categories, they don't have any all category. It is empty. They don't have any all category. Yeah, you can see there is no all category here. Then how do you handle this now? Can you tell that? It's simple. What we do, so you remembered here I pushed unshift all, na? I used unshift all. So this is in suppose lowercase all, unshift all. Now here we have to write a simple condition. Condition is if e dot target dot value is equal to all, then what should happen? It should load products. Load products. What products it should load? This time http fake store API fakestoreapi.com / in that products. That's it. This is going to load all. Otherwise it should load only the products that belong to that category. Am I right? That means what is this condition? This condition says that if user selects all, then fetch this API which contains all products. If user selects any particular category, then fetch this API which will return only that category related products. This is the simple condition we need to handle. That means when you click all, you select all, you see here. Now let's refresh. By default, it is displaying all products information here. Yeah, it is showing all products. All products are displayed here. All the products are displayed here. Now I am selecting here jewelry. That means only the jewelry products will display here. You can see only jewelry products are displaying. Again, I will click here and select all. Then it should get me all the products and display again. Now you can see again all the products are coming and displayed. So that means we can easily handle. Actually, this all is not available. We manually added this all and we are configuring a condition for that. That because they have that API method available, we are using it. This is for all products. This is for all categories, and this is for so specific category products. It is for specific category related. There is another option. We can have products slash, we have ID. We can use 1, 2, 3 ID. This will get the ID, specific product. We can get that specific product related details by using this. Now the point is here in this, suppose I want to select a category, then the category related products will open. After the product related category opens, I must implement a function for that add to cart. That means when user clicks add to cart, that item must be added into my shopping cart. That means we need to write a logic for this add to cart. But this add to cart is actually generated here, right? This is add to cart button. This is add to cart button, which is present in cart footer. Now I need to handle a functionality on this button click. On this button click, we need to fire up the functionality. That means what we have to do here, you see now, I'm creating so a simple option here on click, right? On click, we have to handle add to cart. Handle add to cart. We haven't written it, we will write, okay? Now let's go to the function here, right? Here we are writing a function. So what is the function? The function is handle add to cart. What this have to do? It should identify which product they added to cart. How? The condition is I need to get this product related ID when the button is clicked. If I can bring the ID of this particular product, am I right? If I can bring the ID of that particular product, I can separately add into a cart. Now the question on the button click, how to send the details of this product? On that button click, how we can send the detail of that particular product? So see here, what we are doing is, this is product card. This is card is iterating now. So this is the card. So product ID, the image, title, everything is coming here. Now what we do is, when the button is clicked, so here I will put the button ID. The button ID I will use as, so this button ID I will use as product dot ID. Am I right? The product ID is applied as button ID. Now can I collect this ID? On click, we can access that ID. Am I right? That means event na here, event. How to access that alert? Alert e dot target dot ID. ID will return the ID of that particular button. That means now every button have a ID, that is product ID. That means now user clicks here. So let's run this and see. When user clicks any product to add, without filtering, with filtering, user can click that add to cart button now. When user clicks add to cart, suppose this is the third one, men's cotton jacket, right? So add to cart, it is 3. That means the product ID is coming. It's not index number, it is the product IDs. That means the product related ID is coming here, 8. The product ID is coming here. So for example, so this is solid gold, right? This is, yeah, its ID is not coming. 6, yeah, it is 6. Now, very important, I will select jewelry. That means we are filtering only jewelry products. It is not its sequence, it is the original product ID. It is the original product ID. Okay, now solid gold and click its ID is 6. Right, we are accessing its ID. We are accessing its ID. Okay, now the question is how to get this ID related product and add to cart. That means what I will do here, see, I will do one simple logic here. I will create another state constant. This is cart. So here I cart items, that is cart items, and a set cart items, and it is state. Use state. It is an array because you can add multiple items into your cart. You can add multiple items into cart. So it is an array. Cart items is an array. It is currently empty. Nothing is present inside the cart items. It is empty. So what we have to do here? So what we need to do is actually when user clicks the button, I have to collect. When user clicks this add to cart button, I have to collect this ID product and add to cart items. Understood? Right? I need to fetch this product and add to cart items. Then what we have to do? We need to write a logic. What is it? Fetch. Fetch what? So we have to fetch http colon fake store API fakestoreapi.com / what is it? Products / product ID. Product ID is coming from e.target.id. It will get that particular product. And remember, this is returning only one object. That means this is going to return only one object. That means you see here. So products of 1, right? What it will do? It will return the first product related information. It is going to return that specific product related information. That means it is not array, it is an object. So only one object is returned. Now what we have to do is we need to collect this object and push into cart items. So here we will do one thing. So we will collect that dot, then we have to get response dot JSON, and we have to use another, then collect the data. What we have to do? Set cart items. Into that we will send this data. This data is only one product. That means cart items contain this one. After that, I will do one thing just for temporarily. I will use console.log. I will use cart items. Okay. Cart items is arena. I am just logging those cart items. Now you can see here. Let's explore and see the console here. Okay. And here, let's say, yeah. Now what we are doing in this now. So click on any button, add to cart button. When I click add to cart, this is a men's cotton jacket, add to cart. Then it should add that into that cart. We'll wait because again it has to fetch from the API, search for that particular product and display. And you can see it returns an array that contains. So this array is empty. That means it doesn't have any data. So let's click. You can see here it is returning. all products. It should not return all products. We are using only cart items now. Where is it? Cart items is an array. We will put array of 0. Only one, first one we have to get it. Okay. While working with the API, you have to wait a little while for fetching the data from APIs. It may take some times because it has to come from their server. I click on add to cart. I think better we can put an alert to confirm that button clicked or not. Okay, what it is returning undefined. It is returning undefined. What happened here? Fetch ID. This is data. Okay. Console.log. We need to put the data, not the cart items, because cart items outside. Refresh. Okay. Now I select any product here. Add to cart. And it gets that information. That means that item is added into that cart. Now what we have to do, that means anyone, you click on any product here, you click on any product, that means it should return that particular product based on the ID. So we need to get the product based on ID. Okay, that is 15. That is based on the ID we have to access. Now these all details are stored in which location? These all details where we are storing all these details. We are accessing every product and we are storing in this. Which location we are storing that? We are storing in cart items. Now what we have to do is we need to display those cart items whenever user want to see. Am I right? That, and we need to display some option like how many items are in the cart. How many items are in the cart. We need to display that how many items are in the cart. That means when user clicks on this, when user clicks on this, we are using, suppose I am using temporarily here alert. I am using an alert. In the alert, I am displaying the collection. Collection is what? Cart items. Cart items, how many are there? Length. It's an array. Na? How many cart items are there? We have to select this. That means it is the length. How many items are there? So that means when user selects here, I will put one more option here. So alert, I will put here item added to cart. Okay, this just for confirmation. And yeah. Now when user selects any item here, when user selects any item, some jewelry, so it will load only the jewelry related products. Okay, I click on add to cart, item added to cart, and it should get the item's length. It is saying undefined. Currently it is showing undefined. Why it is undefined? Because it is expected undefined. Why? Because this cart items is not updated until or unless you come out of this function. Understood? This function. That means whenever the data is updated. These cart items are stored into it. And if you want to send an alert, how many items are there in the length? Suppose you see now, I have to configure this in a separate function. That function will collect the length of all the cart items. And that function should be called whenever user clicks add to cart. That means what we have to do, when user clicks add to cart, we need to create a function. That function should execute every time. Whenever add to cart is clicked, it should get the updated length and it should display the length somewhere. For example, I want to display the length, how many items are there in the cart right side. I want to get that right side. Let's see. That means we are displaying the items here. This is cart items. Let's write a function. What is the function? Get length. Get cart items count. Okay. What this have to do? It should get the total number of items in the cart and display somewhere. So what we will do here, we will create another constant. So items count, right? Items count. And here we will have set items count. And it is use state. It is a number type, right? By default, it is how much? 0. Now what we have to do here, whenever get cart items count is updated, what we have to do, set items count. Set items count should contain, what is that? Cart items dot what? Length. This must be updated every time. That means whenever this cart items count is called, then it should collect the length of that cart items and it should display. Now this items count, I want to display somewhere where we will display. I will do one thing. So this column is 3. This column is suppose 6. That is main. After the main, I will keep a nav, right? And this I will put not now. This is aside. Yeah, I will put aside. And here I will put the class name as call3. And here we will put a button. And this button have a span. In that we have class name. So bi cart sum 3. And here we have how many items in the square brace. We will put here items count. Items count and the class name btn warning, something like this, w100. Actually right side, now you will get this items. So here I will put the text your cart items. That means this is how we need to define. I will use this section little bit margin top as 2 or 3, little bit down shifted. Now you can see here also same color I will add for your understanding sake, danger. Now you can see the same color is. Now how many items are in the cart? Now how many items are in the cart? 0. 0. Now you can observe here. So what we do, let's little bit adjust this to 2, adjust to 7 or 8. Here also I will keep it to 2. So because products details must be more. That is the design. Now what should happen is when user selects any particular item, add to cart, it is showing the message item added to cart. After that item added to cart, it should update here. That means how many items are there in the cart? It should update there. 1, 2 items are there. Another point, when user clicks on that button, it should show those items in the cart. It should display those items in the cart. What are the items in the cart? And those items we must able to remove or we must able to edit. That means we must able to remove items from the cart. That means dynamically we handle three things. So what are those? Adding item into the cart, updating this cart count, right? Another, updating the cart count. When user clicks on it, I need a pop-up. In the pop-up, I want to display the items in the cart. Actually, to display such pop-ups and all, you have to use a lot of bootstrap jQueries. If you don't have any idea, we will do one thing. We will put them here itself, right? We will put here itself. That means the list of items in the cart we can display there itself, or we can display in pop-up. Later, I will give you material, Angular, React material. There we can display pop-ups. Initially, we have to implement this. Now, can you tell how to add this collection updated every time? Length is coming fine, right? This length need to be updated now. How do we do that? This length need to be updated every time when you add to cart. When you add to cart, the item is added into this cart items. After updating into the cart items, here in this, can I call that function get items count? What do you say? I need to update the count now. To update the count, this is the logic. To update the count, this is the logic, na? Set count. That means the item's length should be updated there, set count. That means I am calling that here. Is it okay? Do I need to call in this promise or outside? Because that updated count must be displayed here. That means suppose I am selecting add to cart, item added to cart, that must be updated here. Where to configure this? In this promise? Where to configure that? General JavaScript logic only. But here little more complex issues will be there. Those we will handle later. But simple, how we can update the count. For example, suppose here on add to cart click, what I am doing is set cart item, not set cart items. What is that? Items counter. So set items count. I am using set items count. Set items count, I will give the value. Suppose value is nothing but whatever that is there. That means items count. So plus plus. Can I do like this? The value plus 1. But this is not the concept, right? I am just giving you a hint, right? This is the concept. After that, we are using load, not that get. What is it? Get items count. We are updating the count again. That means when here you are adding, so when you are adding that add to cart, so initially it says 0 items in your cart. And when I click on add to cart, any item I click on add to cart, item added to cart, then you can see here it is not updated. So that is not updated here. In that it is not updated. Why it is not updated? This is the concept. Why it is not updated? Because component is loaded. Already component is loaded. That means component is mounted. After component is mounted, if any change occurred in the component, then it should reload the component again. Understood? It should reload the component again to get the new details. It should reload the component again at new details. So which event is going to reload? Which event is going to reload? Which event is going to reload? Which event is going to reload the component? It is managed by use effect now. That means loading the component, initializing the component is managed by whom? Use effect. Now, when this should be loaded again? When it should load this component again, initialize again, whenever the item count is changed. Am I right? That means here I told you dependency, na? Understood? This time, this dependency will change. What is the dependency? Based on which dependency it has to change? What is the dependency out of these four? Tell me. Based on which dependency out of these four, what is it? What is the dependency? Tell me. Which one we should use as dependency for loading the item, loading the component? If component is remounted, then only the updated details will come. Understood? Understood that point? If component is remounted, then only updated details will come. Now, what is the condition for remounting the component? Based on which value the component should remount? Based on which value the component should remount? What we have to do? Based on items count or cart items length. You can use it. For example, here it is not finished, just point I am giving. What is the dependency now? What is the dependency? Dependency is cart items dot length. I given the dependency. Understood? Cart items dot length is the dependency. That is one option here I am defining. So that means the dependency of loading the component is items count. That means how many items are there, cart items, we have to get the length. So why it is not updated? That is the point, right? Why it is not updated? Because so if you have to update the details every time, the dependency must be defined here. Dependency must be defined. Now here, the cart items dependency, I'm using cart items length as dependency, or another dependency, what is it? Items count. So items count is the dependency. Here we are using items count also. But still, a lot of work is there. I'm just explaining the scenario because our example is not designed for that dependency yet. We have to design it. We have to redesign it. So here you see add to cart. I click on OK. This is not updated. Why? Because the component need to mount again based on the dependency. For that, we need to implement a certain logic here. That is what you have to understand in use effect, how we can manage. So that part, how to implement this functionality, how to handle this functionality, that we will see in our next session. Tomorrow we will do that, right? First, you try up to this. This entire logic I will upload. First, try up to this. Then the dependencies, how to manage them, how to update them, how to delete them. CRUD operations like, right? Adding the details, removing the details, we will see how to manage. Then you will get a good clarity on that, right? Then you will get a good clarity on this hook use effect, when it happens and how it happens. That we will detailedly discuss in the next session tomorrow, right? Meanwhile, you try just this structure, how to build the structure. The two functionalities, adding to cart, showing the cart, that we will implement in the next session. Tomorrow we'll see. Okay, right.